Star Wars is full of heroes and villains, but each of them carries a hidden darkness that shapes their destiny. Today, we dive deep into the shadowed side of 8 iconic characters. 1. Anakin Skywalker, the Engineered Fall. Anakin Skywalker is not just a talented Jedi, he is a child shaped by fear, loss, and injustice. Born a slave, separated too early from his mother, he develops a desperate need for control and attachment. The Jedi demand the opposite from him: detachment, suppression, emotional distance. This contradiction becomes the foundation of his eventual collapse. At the temple, he is never treated like a true member of the Order. The Masters doubt him, fear his potential, and treat him as an anomaly. This fuels frustration that grows year after year. During the Clone Wars, Anakin becomes a hero, but also a weapon. He is encouraged to fight, lead, disobey when needed, and then criticized for being impulsive. When he begins having visions of Padmé's death, the tragedy is already in motion. He saw his mother die after similar visions, so to him, the Force doesn't warn to prevent tragedy, it warns to show what he is powerless to stop. Palpatine understands this perfectly and exploits Anakin's fear, his emotional instability, and his need for belonging. Anakin does not fall because he wants power. He falls because he believes it is the only way to save the one person he cannot lose. His darkness is the overwhelming terror of loss, and once he gives in, he becomes the most tragic weapon the galaxy has ever known. 2. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the silent weight of guilt. Obi-Wan is seen as the perfect Jedi, but in reality, he is a man constantly torn between discipline and emotion. He trains Anakin not by choice but by obligation, which already creates a fractured relationship. He loves Anakin like a brother, but educates him like a soldier. He protects him, but constantly reminds him of rules. During the Clone Wars, he becomes a general, far from the Jedi's original purpose, leaving him with little time to truly mentor Anakin. He senses the darkness growing, but never finds the right way to reach him. When Anakin bonds with Palpatine, Obi-Wan realizes the danger too late. Their battle on Mustafar is not a duel, it is a devastating emotional collapse. Leaving Anakin to die is not justice, it is defeat. Obi-Wan's exile on Tatooine is not a spiritual retreat, but a self-imposed punishment. He watches over Luke not out of pure duty, but because he believes he must atone for his greatest failure. Obi-Wan's darkness is crushing guilt, an unspoken belief that he could have prevented everything, and didn't. 3. Yoda, the pride of tradition. Yoda is revered for his wisdom, yet he embodies a rigid, dogmatic mindset that leads the Jedi Order toward ruin. He clings to ancient traditions, convinced that anything outside them is dangerous. This blinds him to Anakin's suffering, to the corruption within the Senate, and to the fact that the Jedi have become military leaders rather than spiritual peacekeepers. He senses the dark side rising, yet keeps applying the same methods, refusing to adapt. When he finally confronts Palpatine, he discovers not only the Sith's strength, but the limits of his own understanding. His exile is not just survival, it is a confession that everything he built has failed. Yoda's darkness is not anger or hatred, it is stubborn blindness, the arrogance of believing the old ways were enough to face a new era. 4. Luke Skywalker, the burden of the Skywalker name. Luke begins as an idealistic dreamer, but he is quickly burdened by violence, responsibility, and the terrifying truth about his father. He wants to embody the light, yet he struggles with impulsiveness and fear. Facing Vader, Luke fully taps into the dark side: rage, vengeance, the desire to kill. He stops himself at the last second, but the experience scars him deeply. Later, as he tries to rebuild the Jedi Order, Luke unconsciously repeats the old mistakes: isolation, dogmatism, perfectionism. When he senses a dark future in Ben Solo, his reflexive response, igniting his lightsaber, shatters everything. Ben's fall becomes Luke's greatest shame. Luke retreats from the galaxy not out of wisdom, but fear. Fear of failing again, fear of becoming like Vader, fear of causing more harm. His darkness is self-doubt turned into self-exile. 5. Kylo Ren, a fractured identity. Ben Solo grows up surrounded by instability, parents always away, a distant Jedi master, and a dark manipulator whispering in his ear since childhood. He feels torn between light and darkness, unable to form his own identity. When he learns about Vader, he feels both admiration and disgust. Snoke exploits this inner conflict, convincing him that Ben Solo will never be enough. The moment Luke ignites his saber over him completes the break. Kylo Ren is not a Sith, not a Jedi, not a true leader. He is a man destroying everything that reminds him of who he used to be. Killing Han is not an act of victory but an act of self-destruction, an attempt to kill the love and pain he cannot bear. His darkness is a void he tries to fill with violence, masks, and power, yet he remains lost. 6. Ahsoka Tano, light shaped by betrayal. Ahsoka begins as a bright, enthusiastic student who trusts the Jedi completely. But as the war progresses, she sees the flaws, the Jedi acting as generals, judges, sometimes executioners. When she is framed for a bombing, the Council abandons her without hesitation. Being declared innocent later does not repair the betrayal. She refuses to return, not out of pride, but because she realizes the Jedi have lost their way. After Order 66, she survives by shedding the Jedi identity while still clinging to the light. She helps not because a code demands it, but because her conscience does. Her darkness comes from deep emotional scars, a trauma that leaves her cautious, distant, and distrustful of institutions. She walks in the light, but alone. 7. Boba Fett, the child who became armor. Boba Fett is not simply a bounty hunter, he is a child molded by trauma. Witnessing his father's death shapes him irreversibly. Raised among criminals, mercenaries, and killers, Boba learns survival before he learns morality. His legendary armor becomes both protection and identity, an emotional exoskeleton built to hide a wounded boy. Each mission, each bounty, each terrifying reputation he earns is less about power and more about proving his existence in a galaxy that took everything from him. His silence, detachment, and coldness toward killing are not malice, but emotional numbness. Boba Fett's darkness is the absence of vulnerability, a life so hardened by loss that he forgets how to be human. 8. Palpatine, the pure face of darkness. Palpatine is unlike any other character on this list because he never falls. He chooses darkness from the beginning. He studies it like an art form, mastering manipulation in ways no Sith ever has. His genius lies in understanding the weaknesses of the Jedi, their arrogance, their institutional rigidity, their spiritual stagnation. He infiltrates every level of society, engineers an entire war, controls both sides of it, and transforms the galaxy without anyone realizing the extent of his influence. His darkness is cold, intellectual, and absolute. He does not hate, fear, or rage, he calculates. Palpatine is not tempted by the dark side. He is the dark side, refined and weaponized. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker sides of Star Wars characters, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. May the Force be with you, always.